activities, and I had to also speak yesterday in Mumbai to speak at the Shipping, Maritime and Port World Expo 2012 conference held in Mumbai. And last night, I attended the India-Japan networking session organized by Japan Marine Equipment Association and Chemtech Foundation of India. Fortunately for me, in this forum, I had the great privilege to meet and talk to at length with some of the stalwarts of post-war Japanese industry. Perhaps you may not be aware, but Japan had aircraft carriers in their possession. We were talking about this yesterday. India is building their first aircraft carrier in Cochin Shipyard in Kerala these days, 65 or 70 years later. And Japan was the first Asian nation to have this kind of engineering acumen and capability to produce engineering marvels like this. But the mighty Japan was totally destroyed in the Second World War. It was General MacArthur's policy from the USA. He in fact adopted a campaign called Saibatsu Kaitai, which meant destroy all the major Japanese industries. There were 10 major Japanese industries which the Americans believed fueled the war machinery in Japan. And one of the tasks that they took over after the Second World War is to destroy this industrial base in Japan. I met one Mr. Itazawa, president of Kame Propolis, who told me that the Japanese yen at that time, just after the Second World War, had a parity rate of 320 yen to a US dollar. So he said, selling was not a big issue, provided you had anything to sell. But he said, the biggest problem was, when you go out, even when you came out to an Asian country, staying in a hotel was a big problem. Because if it cost $10, it was 3,200 yen in Japan, which was a huge amount of money. I just, while sitting with him, something that struck my mind, tried to think about what would have been Sri Lanka's situation at that time. I couldn't go back to 1945, but I remember in 1975 when I first traveled, the US dollar was equal to 12 Sri Lankan rupees. Today, the Japanese yen, I exchanged some money on Monday, is 75.36, one of the most appreciated currencies at present. So what has happened to the Japanese yen? It has appreciated 4 times since the Second World War. And what has happened to the Sri Lankan rupee? It has depreciated more than 1,000 times. Now, where is Japan today? Irrespective of this appreciation of the currency, still the world's second largest economy. Who made it possible? Is it the politicians? Is it economists? Is it the lawyers? Is it with the doctors. Ladies and gentlemen, indeed I have no malice or disrespect to any of the other professions and professionals. They certainly have an important role, or rather important roles to play in societal development. But there cannot be any debate that the economic growth and development of the country depends a lot on its production capacity, and therefore engineering. And engineers have a crucial role and a key role to play in that regard. That's why what I have been able to learn from people in the caliber of Itazawa-san, whom I met last night. So this topic is relevant in that context too. In Sri Lanka, we try to increase our per capita GDP or double our per capita GDP by 2016 without increasing the production capability of the country. If we merely think of doubling the per capita GDP, it's not going to come from anywhere. It's only going to be a slogan that is not achieved. Japan became the manufacturing nation of the world within the last 65 years. It converted from mere copying of inventions of the others in the world to a nation that innovates consistently. If you read Akio Morita's Made in Japan, you would see the first copies of things Japan produced after the Second World War. The rice cooker they made, because they thought first you need to have a local market. If you are successful in the local market, then you can launch yourself to the international market. They said it never worked. But they sold it. And Japanese bought it. And we in Sri Lanka today, 60% of our import-export trade is for imports. Perhaps the inventions were made elsewhere. As many of us know, most of the inventions in the world are majorities made in the US. But it is the Japanese who are able to come up with products and services that will make a whole difference in life of every citizen in the world. I don't think the computers, the televisions, the various other facilities that we enjoy today would have become what it is today if not for the engineering acumen of the Japanese engineers who changed what was their problem. So much so that even the mighty nations could not keep abreast with the fast and consistent growth of Japan. So at yesterday's free dinner sessions, they were telling that India is the next hope for the world, with more than 1.2 billion people, and economic growth at about 6 to 7%, with certain amount of democracy and stability in the political system in place, the legal system being fairly established, They now see that there can be